Imagine this. You're sitting in a meeting, and suddenly your colleague publicly mocks your idea in front of everyone. Your heart races, your face flushes hot, and every instinct screams at you to fire back, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong right there and then. Most people do exactly that. They react, they argue, they expose their wounds openly. And in doing so, they hand their power over completely. But what if the most powerful response wasn't a reaction at all? What if the person who stays silent, calm, and composed in that moment isn't weak, but is actually executing the most sophisticated psychological strategy ever designed? Here is the question that should stop you cold. What if your attacker is counting on your reaction to defeat you? For centuries, two of the most powerful schools of thought have studied human conflict and psychological dominance. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, taught that your true power lives in the space between stimulus and response. Niccolo Machiavelli, history's most ruthless strategic thinker, taught that controlling your emotions while reading others' emotions is the foundation of real influence. Modern psychology now confirms what these masters knew intuitively. The person who controls their reaction in a conflict controls the entire dynamic. Mastering your response is not about suppressing emotion. It is about transforming emotional energy into strategic clarity. That transformation is where real, unshakable power is born. Before we go deeper, I want you to do something deliberate right now. Go to the comments section and write this exact phrase: I am the calm in every storm. Don't skip this. Writing it isn't just participation. It is a psychological anchoring technique. When you write a belief statement actively, your brain begins encoding it as an identity, not just an idea. You are literally rewiring how you see yourself in moments of conflict. To respond to an attack with mastery, you first need to understand precisely why humans attack each other psychologically. The answer almost never has anything to do with you. When someone publicly humiliates you, dismisses your work, or launches a verbal assault, they are not reacting to your inadequacy. They are revealing their own internal architecture. Insecurity is the #1 driver of psychological attacks. A person who feels threatened by your competence, your confidence, or your progress will attempt to pull you down to a level where they feel safe again. Envy operates similarly. It disguises itself as criticism, but its true motive is to neutralize, someone who reminds the attacker of what they have not achieved. Then there is the desire for control. Some people attack because dominating another person's emotional state gives them a temporary sense of power over their own chaotic inner world. There is also social performance. Attacks made publicly are often designed to establish hierarchy in front of witnesses, not to address any real issue with you. When you understand these mechanics deeply, something remarkable happens inside your mind. The attack stops feeling personal. You begin to see it as data, a psychological signal about the attacker's fears, insecurities, and desperate need for control. You shift from being a victim of the moment to being an analyst of it. This is where the Stoic mindset performs something extraordinary. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events, and that realizing this is where your strength lies. Once you understand that an attack is a projection of the attacker's psychology, you stop absorbing it as truth. You begin observing the interaction from a higher psychological position, like a strategist watching a battlefield from a hilltop rather than a soldier panicking in the mud below. You are no longer the target of an attack. You are the student of it. This shift is not passive. It is one of the most aggressive strategic moves available to you, because it removes from your attacker the one weapon they were counting on, your emotional destabilization. Now let me give you the actual system. This is a 4-part psychological framework drawn from Stoic discipline, Machiavellian strategy, and modern behavioral psychology. The system works in real time, in any confrontation, whether it happens in a boardroom, on social media, in your personal relationships, or on the street. The 4 components are: controlled silence, cognitive reframing, strategic delay, and precision response. Each one builds on the previous. Together, they create what I call the unshakable response architecture, a mental operating system that makes you psychologically difficult to destabilize, manipulate, or provoke into self-destructive behavior. Let's break each component down now. The first component is controlled silence, and it is the most disarming weapon in your arsenal. When attacked, the natural reflex is to fill the silence with defense. But silence, when chosen deliberately, communicates something your attacker did not expect, that their words did not reach you. Silence is not emptiness. It is a wall of composure that forces the attacker to question whether their strategy is working. Machiavelli understood that making your opponent uncertain of your reaction is a form of control. The second component is cognitive reframing. In real time, you must mentally translate the attack. Instead of hearing, "They are attacking me," your internal narrative becomes, "They are showing me their fear." This single reframe dismantles the emotional charge of the attack instantly. It moves you from a reactive emotional state into an observational analytical state. The third component is strategic delay. Never respond at the peak of emotional intensity, neither yours nor theirs. Time is a psychological weapon. The longer you wait before responding, the more composed and authoritative your eventual response will appear. Delay communicates that you are not controlled by urgency or emotion. The fourth component is precision response. When you do respond, and sometimes you won't need to at all, you respond only to what is factually relevant, calmly, briefly, and without hostility. A short, composed response after deliberate silence hits with 10 times the psychological weight of an emotional outburst. This is Machiavellian restraint operating at its highest level. Let's put this system into real situations so you can see exactly how it operates in practice. Scenario 1. Workplace public criticism. Your manager says in front of the team, "This report is honestly not good enough. I expected better." The weak response is immediate defense. "I worked really hard on this. That's not fair." That response exposes emotional vulnerability and invites further dominance. The strategic response using the framework is a calm pause then, "I hear you. I'll review it and come back with improvements." No emotion. No argument. Just composed acknowledgement and forward action. The attacker's dominance attempt collapses because you gave them nothing to grip. Scenario 2. Social media attack. Someone publicly comments on your post, "This is the most naive take I've ever read." Most people respond with aggression or lengthy justification, which only amplifies the attacker's visibility and rewards their behavior. The strategic move is either complete silence, depriving them of engagement entirely, or a single calm sentence that demonstrates intellectual superiority without hostility. Something like, "Interest in perspective. I see it differently. That is all." You have demonstrated confidence, refusal to engage in combat, and quiet authority simultaneously. Scenario 3. Personal relationship confrontation. A partner or family member says in anger, "You always do this. You never listen." The reactive response is to match their emotion. That's completely unfair and untrue. But that escalates the conflict and proves their point emotionally. The strategic response is a deliberate breath, a soft tone, and, "I can see you're frustrated. Let's talk when we're both calmer." You have immediately repositioned yourself as the emotionally intelligent party in the room. Power shifts in your direction without a single aggressive word being spoken. Here is the final move that completes the system and gives you total control of any conflict interaction. After you have used silence, reframing, delay, and precision response, you perform what Machiavelli would call the conclusive repositioning. You make the attacker feel understood without validating their aggression. This sounds like, "I understand this matters to you," spoken calmly without sarcasm. This sentence is psychologically devastating to an attacker because it removes their ammunition entirely. They came to provoke emotion. Instead, they received empathy delivered with the calm confidence of someone who cannot be rattled. It signals to every witness in the room that you are the most controlled, most intelligent, and therefore most powerful person in the interaction. That is the final move. Here is your complete, unshakable response architecture summarized clearly. Step 1. Use controlled silence immediately. Step 2. Cognitively reframe the attack as data about the attacker. Step 3. Apply strategic delay before any response. Step 4. Deliver a brief, composed precision response. Step 5. Conclude with calm acknowledgement that repositions you as the most powerful presence. That is the complete system. You are not someone who breaks under pressure. You are someone who has now chosen to operate from a higher psychological level than most people ever access. Every time you face provocation and choose composure over reaction, you are building a form of inner strength that becomes visible to everyone around you. People will begin to notice that you are different, not because you are louder or more aggressive, but because you are profoundly difficult to destabilize. That quality is magnetic. It is respected. And it is entirely within your control to embody starting right now. The most dangerous person in a room is the one who cannot be provoked. Ask yourself honestly, are you ready to become that person? If this strategy gave you something real, subscribe now and keep watching. These frameworks go deeper with every video. Your mind is your greatest weapon. Sharpen it.